Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. No matter where you are, I hope you have a great time. So with that in mind, let's get started with today's session. My name is Wahidullah Lutfy, and I'm going to be showing you the until loop within the bash scripting or shell scripting. So today's we're on video number 9 for the shell scripting. Although I have a lot of other videos, and this is a series of videos that I'm teaching a lot of the structure of the shell scripting, whether it's if statement, if test, if nested statement, for statement, for each statement, while statement, until statement, and so on. All of those ones we're discussing. And today we're on video number 9. We're going to discuss the until loop or until statement. On Unix, again, this is a Linux Ubuntu, but the syntax is working for both Unix, which is Mac OS X, as well as Solaris, as well as AIX, IBM, as well as SGI IREX, and so on. All of those ones, as well as Red Hat, Linux, Debian Linux, and then Ubuntu, which is Debian, and all other flavor of Debian, Fedora, in the Red Hat distribution. So we're going to discuss the Debian Linux version on this session. Without further ado, I'm going to do the structure of the until loop, which says that the until loops, basically the until statement loops as long as the condition is false. And opposed to the while statement, the until when the condition within the brackets or is false, then it continue with the statement following the do and done. Following the do and then before it is done. Well, when it is the condition is becomes true, then it exits the loop. So between the do and done, all the conditions is read and the statements are executed. But at some point in the condition within the do and done, you have to set it to false. I mean to true in this case, because it's until. With a while statement, the condition, you would set it to false. So it's opposed to a while statement. And it checks on the condition. If it is false, it executes. If it is true, it doesn't. So in the example that you see in front of you, x is equal 1. So in Linux or Unix and computer science, true is represented as 1 and false is represented as 0. So you're saying until $x equal 0, which is at this time is not equal 0, it is 1, it just keep looping. But it reads, it prints the date command, and then it reads the instruction from the user. So the user enters 0, automatically it exits out. Otherwise, it continues. And then this is another example of the same kind of looping, but I showed you the example with it. And so I entered 1, it says you entered 1, which it was x is equal 1 in the first place. Then it put the date, and then it reads the x value again, and I entered 2, and then it displays those output. And then I enter 3 and it displays those output. When I enter 0, it exits out there, because 0, the condition becomes true. So this is a program that I wrote today. Actually, last Friday night, I received an email from a user, and that was asking me if I had a list of shell scripts, or kind of like a pack of shell script, a group of them together to just teach shell scripting, because the person found me on the Google search as like a person to provide shell programming and Python and everything else, when that person was interested in shell scripting. So fortunately, I had already all the documentation and all the shell scripting programs written, and I had already posted at MyWebUniversity free educational videos, as well as my YouTube channel. And then I said, well, at this time, I'm going to just provide you the links to subscribe to my channel, as well as watch chapter 5 of my book. And then once you are just basically there to see the rest of them, and then I could just maybe ask the person to say that what else I can do for you, because once I sent that information, the link, she was very happy, and she says, this is all I needed, this is very useful information, because I give her the my YouTube channel to subscribe first, making sure that she can see all of these videos that I have posted. There's more than 175 videos as of today, and I'm keep updating it. That's why I ask her to just make sure that she subscribes so she can see the latest as I posted, for example, for the newest. And then if it is Python or shell scripting or C++, anything that I do, those videos will be sent there. Like, for example, this Python interview question on the string replace method, I just posted 2 hours ago. So these ones I post, and then as I post them, I also post them on my MyWebUniversity free educational videos. This is my website called MyWebUniversity.com, and I post them here as well. On this one, because I wrote a book called the Direct Path to Linux Ubuntu, this book has 7 chapters. So each chapter is going to teach you specific things on a specific chapter. For example, chapter 2 teaches you Unix and Linux commands, basic commands. Chapter 3, intermediate commands. Chapter 4, advanced commands. Once you learn these commands, then you're ready to learn shell programming. Then I teach you shell programming on chapter 5, and then web server on chapter 6, and then this chapter 7 is the dynamic manual pages of Linux, which I wrote a Python script that produces about 66,000 technical documentation of Linux manual pages on Ubuntu. So all you need is just a browser and internet access, and you visit my site. Within this book, if you start learning each chapter, you're watching the videos, you're practicing commands online on each one of them, and then you go to a specific chapter. And the first one is basically, chapter 1 is talking about the Unix and Linux operating system and definition, and where you can get manual pages, documentation on website and everything else. And the inventor of the Unix, Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson, I have a link for their sites at AT&T Bell Laboratory back in 1969 when they invented it, AT&T version. So on chapter 2, if you look at the chapter 2, for example, this table has all the commands that I'm posting. Every time I go to chapter 2, God bless my brother, he was my hero, and he was kind of like the biggest person, noble person that I could have learned from him in my life. He made so many things that for everybody, not just for his family, everything. He was a cardiologist at Kaiser permanently. God bless him. Excuse me for a second, sorry about that. So basically on the chapter 2, I have these videos that you can also watch all these commands. And you can go also in chapter 3 and learn the same way intermediate commands. Intermediate commands, and then you can also there's 33 commands on each one of them when you click. For example, if you click on the df command, I'll show you what is df command and some examples. When you click on the command, you're sitting on a browser, but you're seeing the output in front of you running on my Linux server, and the output displays on the browser. So this is very nice because you don't need a Linux server, you don't need VirtualBox, you don't need Docker, you don't need VM. You just run the command, you see the output here, and it's all just a browser and internet access. And if you want to see, like, for example, on the same command, manual pages on the df command, then my other program, chapter 7, will just give you help on how to just read documentation on the df, and then you could just go through this and then do it. And if you're interested for other commands, like let's say section 3 of printf statement, you could just type in that one, and then you get the printf statement for printf standard IO, and then all the function printf that are passed on section 3 of the manual pages, you could get it. And if you want just the section 1 printf statement, and which is the Unix command, you just type in printf by itself. By default, it takes section 1, but you can do also -s1 and then run the command there. So let's just go to chapter 4, which is the advanced Linux commands. I'm going to go to, after I get out of this. Obviously, for each of these commands, I made it a lot more than just running the commands and learning it. You can practice it online, so you don't have to have a Unix machine there. You could practice any commands that you are interested there, and then get the data output there. So some of the information that I could not just allow you to type in the command and get output, for example, change ownership or change group or anything else, those ones I've made it like a documentation that you can read like a book, and I give you examples here. So it is a full book online that is available for you. You're welcome just to learn it online. And for each of these ones, I also made these videos that you could go and learn it from there. So if you're learning Unix and Linux, especially Linux Ubuntu, and this book is for you, you're welcome to just do it. Some of these ads that are coming from Google, I usually buy Dr. Scholl's deep tissue for my soccer injuries, and then that's why those ones always comes to mind. But you're welcome to just click on them, and if you get some sort of discount, get stuff from here as well, and benefit me as well, because every times you use these ones, Google just allow me to have like a few cents there. But if you don't have to use it, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal here. But what I'm talking about here, the chapter 4, you can see all these videos that I put for chapter 4 from for the advanced chapter 4 for advanced port 1 through port 8, all of this. And basically on chapter 8, this is table is 88 commands. Each row, I have one video for it, video 1 through 8. These are the video that you are welcome to practice them. You can learn it, like if you want to learn Docker or System D, these are advanced levels. You're welcome to see it, as well as you can watch these videos that is going to give you a lot of details, like in addition to maybe building Apache on chapter 6 and so on. So on chapter 5, which I wanted to point that person to chapter 5, because chapter 5 is basically about shell scripting, as you can see, the direct path to Linux Ubuntu. You're welcome to go on YouTube and find some of my videos on each chapters, like you can see Unix, F statement, environment, nested, everything. You're welcome to do some search there. But if you go to the website itself, I organize it for you, and you can read, see the script itself. You can see the script that I'm doing here, and then you can run it. You can get output from it. So for example, like if you just go here, and then on this command, I'm saying cat for each. While I'm showing this command here, I could also say, go ahead, type in a Unix command in practice. Some commands I'm allowing it because they're making sense, like for calendar, and then the uname, we did it, and run date, or something like that. If you just, this is the advantage of Python and shell programming, other ones. You can just dynamically run these commands. As you can see, if I run the date, it is not just going to just be static. It is just generating as today. And then when I do the calendar, it is this month. So if I just want to see the calendar of other thing, like calendar 1998 of February, then I could just run that syntax and it will just give me February 1998. But if I just want to say ls minus l star.cgi, and then notice that I put the star, it doesn't work there because I don't want somebody to just say, for example, rm star.cgi or rm minus rf, remove everything that has the extension back or something. So notice that I already detect that one and say, okay, this person is trying to run this. And if I say rm star.text, that is also going to just not allow it. And similarly, rm star.cgi, it's not going to allow it. So those commands are not allowed. But if you type in a pwd, which is print working directory, and then do this command, it is going to allow it. If you type in anything like df-h, some commands that I'm allowing it, this is going to be running. So in fact, the df-h kind of examples I'm showing you on this other program that I wrote, I will just go through those ones as well. So for chapter 5, when you're on chapter 5, basically, if you go to mywebuniversity.com/chapter 5, this will bring you this page. And then this page is basically all the chapter 5, the commands that videos that I have so far. This is video number 8, and video number 9 is going to be posted next. I also have awk programming and Python and other ones. Those ones are here as well. So you're welcome to watch anything that interests you. And if you subscribe, you're automatically going to get the latest notification as soon as I post them. But with that in mind, let's just show you why when I asked the person saying that, what else you need? Because if you are looking at those links, maybe it's going to take you a while. And the person told me actually that I need something like, I was looking for like a menu based for my job or something for school or whatever was the reason. I think that person needed that for the job, but I don't recall it exactly what it was the reason. And then they said, or she said, actually, I need it in order to just write a shell script to do a menu. So for a particular reason that I could run some commands within the menu. And then I said, okay, if I won't promise anything, but I'm going to make a video for you to make it available. And the good news is that I made the video today, just 2 days later or 1 day later. And this video is now going to be posted tonight. And I'm going to also put the entire script in my description of this video. The description of this video will contain the entire 56 line. And then the output obviously is going to be not, doesn't matter. And I'm not going to put the line numbers, so that way you can cut and paste from the script and change some of the information as you do. For example, on some lines of the script, I'm running like top command. If you don't have htop installed, which is a graphic version of top, then you need to install it depending on the version of Linux you're running. If you're doing it in Linux Ubuntu, then apt install htop, it will install it, apt-get or apt install htop. And then the df- command is a standard command here on the line number 18. Basically, I'm just showing if the person wants to do some sysadmin work, they could do monitor the server by running top and look at the processes and then run htop. If they want to see a graphical user interface for the top command, which is a newer version of top, and then the df command to just check on the root partition to see how the file system is used, if the file system size is small or not, if it is growing, how fast it's growing, the user partition, the /home partition, the var, and the /temp, which is the pseudo file system. And then monitor the Apache web server, and assuming that in this server that I'm running is MyWebUniversity web server, I'm running an Apache web server. I will tell you those information because some people are afraid to just give these details. And the reason I do that, when I want to help people, and so they understand the concept and they can duplicate it for their environment. I'm not there to just hide anything. Whatever, I just provide these videos. I'm here to help you out so you can do great in your jobs at the school and everything. You could just do it. All these if statement that I'm doing, if test, I could have just do F and then the condition $. And instead of using the test, I could have used the left bracket, right bracket between and the $, and before the $, and after 1 and after 2 and so on. But because I showed you that other video on test, I said, well, let's just do an example with test as well as if statement, as well as elif statement, as well as the until statement. So in this case, you can see num is assigned to 5 because these values 1 through 4, including 0 through 4, I'm asking the user to choose one of those options from the menu. And therefore, I just set num to 5. So therefore, this one will be true, false. And then false, num is not equal to 0. 5 is not equal to 0. Therefore, it enters the loop statement. And then at some point, when the user types 0, I read 0 and line number 23, and the read statement has to be inside the do statement, because every time you want to just make sure that the user did not want to exit. If they want to exit, you are welcome to allow them to exit. So this will exit, and then it will run the the loop, and it will check on each of these conditions based on what the value enters the user. If the user choose option 2, then you are going to run the top and read the key. So the enter comes in. Otherwise, you want the person to take advantage of that top output commands. Whenever the user chose to exit out of that session, then you read a key. By pressing a key, any key, then you go to provide them the menu again. Similarly for the option 3, similarly for option 4, and so on. So and the only difference is that in each options, depending on what the user chose, you're going to run a different command. For example, in option 3, we're going to run this df command. And then the output of the df command is going to be displayed, and then the command actual that runs to display the output is this line 39. And then similarly for the systemctl status Apache too. If I'm not running Apache, I could do a ps-ef egrep for Apache or httpd grep -v grep. I could do that one, but I don't have to, because I know on this system it's system CTL, and then start Apache 2, and then we're running there. You can always write your system manual, like here, the system admin, to help you. So this list that I have is not like a ultimate list, or I just was trying to do a fast script. You can write a script that it's going to actually help you as a junior sysadmin, as a senior, as a monitoring person. Usually you don't work on one server when you're a sysadmin, you work on thousands of them. So monitoring a server, it's not all the time that you're going to do it, but there's a favorite server that you always want to make sure that is like everything is running on production performance wise very good, and then you want to monitor that server on the side of your terminal, and then at the same time do your activity of task every day. And then if that server is having some sluggish on the status of what's going on there, or some user complaint, you're taking proactive decision before that user actually complains about it. You already know what's going on there. So let's just exit out of this one. I'm going to WQ, and if I do a cat -n until underscore demo.bash, this script basically is that 56 line. And if I do a pipe more, then you can see that the lines are there. And the do until statement basically is this line. So clearing my screen, and I'm going to just, instead of catting it, this time I'm going to just run it. So if I just run the script and then I say, go ahead, run it, notice it gave me a nice menu with sysadmin main menu, and it gave me these options, 1 through 4. At this time, I'm going to type in 0 to exit out. And it says, okay, yeah, every time you want to make sure that you're good with if the user chose to exit, you don't want to just get stuck on a loop or something. That's the first thing you want to test your program. So it says you selected option 0, which is to exit. Thanks for using our sysadmin menu. Now this time I'm going to run it, and notice the screen refresh because I did the clear and then provided the same menu. This time I'm gonna give an option of 1. If I just give any option that is not in the list, like let's say 5 is not on the list, it doesn't do anything. It just basically quickly tells me that you entered the wrong number, but it presents the menu right away and says choose from those options, because it says please select a number between 0 to 4. So once you choose a number between 0 to 4, like 1, then it runs the top command. And at this time, I'm okay to see the system processes. For example, CPU usage is very small, which is really good. And then all the activity that's going on, the process ID of the process, and then look at the top command, Lutfy, I'm running it. So, and then all the memory status and how much it is used, how much is free, and then here on the bottom, you could also see the swap space and everything else, the load average, and there's no zombie process here. Everything is looking nice. And then the process that are there, process ID, user ID, priority, nice, the virtual memory, the resident portion, the shared memory, the status, whether it's running or sleep mode. If it is R means running, if it is S is sleep mode. And then CPU is how much it is percentage-wise used. Memory, the time that the process started in the actual command that's there. So at this time, I'm good with it. I'm going to type in Q for quit. And now I typed in quit. It's waiting to read a key. So at this time, you can see this scroll bar is just blinking. So I press enter, it goes back to my menu. And if I do a 1 again, it goes to the same thing. I type Q again, and it's go there again. So now I'm going to do the option 2 for HTOP, and then this is the graphic interface for HTOP. And notice again, similar activities doing it, but except that HTOP is a graphic, more coloring, more mechanism of doing it. And then on the bottom, you have F1 through F10, all these options to do it. And I'm going to do again on this one, Q for quit. And then I'm going to just say press enter. Now I'm back to the menu. This time I'm going to choose option 3. Option 3 is going to run the df-h command, this command right here, where the output is shown and below here. All this is output of the above command. So you can see the root partition is used about 68% user. So I'm not like having anything full or over 70%. Everything is below 70%, which is very good. And everything is up and running with the top we saw. And so I'm going to just say, go ahead back to the main menu. And then this time I'm going to run the Apache monitor, which is option 4. So option 4 is going to just run the systemctl status Apache 2. And it says it's active running. And then the Apache web server and the process ID of Apache is shown here. And all the details of memory, how much is used, all the other processes that are there for Apache 2 or HTTPD. The -K start option is there, and then the exit statuses code is there, successful. Everything looks good on it, as well as I'm going to just say, go ahead, back to the menu. And then since I use the whole thing, I'm going to just say 0 for exit, and then it says, you have you selected option 0, which is to exit. Thanks for using our system admin main menu. And that it was the program. But I could also do some other program, like for example, if I want to say x is equal, the example that I showed you here. When you say x is equal 1, and then you're saying until $, and then x equal 0, and then you are going to do something. So what I want to do is say echo is still false. So and this is false because the x is equal 1, and 1 is not equal to 0. So what we do, we type in date, and we sleep 1 second just to show ourselves. Then we read x again, and then we just say done. So this one, look at it, it says it's still false, and then it prints the date, and it does sleep 1 second. Then I'm going to provide a value of 2. Then again, it says they're false. It's still false because the value of 2, 3. I could put any value except 0, and then look, whatever value I put is still going to be not true. Once I put 0, it's going to be there. So at this time, I'm going to say read, and then before this one, I'm going to say echo, you entered $x, and then semicolon, and then before we sleep here, read 1, sleep 1, and then so we are just doing a sleep right after read x, and then let's just read x, and then at the same time we're going to run a date command again. If the date is again an issue because we did not sleep, let me just do a sleep here, and I'm going to say sleep 1 second, and then at the same time we are going to do a date, and then only the time that this time if you say echo $x, $x was 0. So I could just run this one and then say x is equal 1, and then run this statement here. It will say you entered 1, and then I'm going to enter 0 right away. It will exit out. So at this time, I'm going to just, in order to just not change the x every time, I could do also something like this. X is equal 1, but then semicolon. So this one, if I just enter the first time 0, it exits out. But since I did this statement, x is equal 1, followed by semicolon, then x gets reassigned, and the condition becomes false again. Then I'm going through the loop. I'm going to type in some numbers, and then whatever I type in, doesn't matter how many times I put some number here, then it's going to keep putting it. But then notice as soon as I put 0, then it exits out. And it ran the date command at the same time, and it exits out. Okay, so that's the do while the until statement, and I hope you enjoyed it. This session, I don't want to make it too long, but you're welcome to subscribe and watch these videos and then learn from it. So on this list that is on chapter 5, 8 is there. Video number 9 will replace this one. This will move up or down. So I will add that one, but it will also come on this YouTube. As I mentioned on the description of the video, I'll post the entire program. So the entire program, this one called until_demo.bash. This program, basically, I'll put the entire program without the line number, so that way you can make changes if you want to, and make your own manual, and then make some modification. You're welcome to do so. Have a nice one. Take care. God bless you all. Let me just vim it here, and then the thing was there. Let me just go to programs. Going to just run one script here, because clear the screen. cd to home Lutfy programs shells directory to root and directory to demos, and then you can see this minus LTR, and then the last one is until_demo.bash. This is the script. So I'm going to type in 0 exit, and just showing you that output, as well as if I go vim, and then on the name of the script was until_demo.bash, and that's the script there. And take care. Have a nice one. God bless you all.